It's a small coin, but it carries a big surprise. The Roosevelt One Dime has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. From minting errors to pristine conditions, these rare dimes have left collectors stunned. What makes them so valuable? Watch till the end to discover the jaw-dropping value of these extraordinary coins. It's a quiet day, the kind of day where everything seems still, yet beneath the surface, history is waiting to unfold. On your table, in your pocket, or perhaps in a small, forgotten drawer, there may be a little coin. A coin that could hold a tale far larger than its size, a story stretching back to the foundations of the United States itself. And at the center of this story lies a seemingly simple coin, the 1980 USA Roosevelt One Dime. At first glance, this dime doesn't look like much. It's small, measuring just 17.91 millimeters in diameter, and weighs a mere 2.27 grams. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, carries with it a legacy much greater than its size might suggest. While today it may be overshadowed by larger denominations and more iconic pieces, the 1980 Roosevelt One Dime is far more than just a piece of currency. It's a window into the political, social, and economic landscape of America at the time. It represents the culmination of Roosevelt's vision, as well as the country's evolving relationship with money, power, and history. The coin, like many other objects, holds memories. It's a reflection of the decade it was minted in, 1980, a year full of global uncertainty, economic hardship, and a turning point in U.S. politics. Now, before we dive into the story behind this particular coin, we must understand the deeper context in which it was born. 1980 was a year where the United States was facing significant challenges, both at home and abroad. The nation had been gripped by the energy crisis, with oil prices skyrocketing and inflation running rampant. Unemployment was on the rise, and there was a palpable sense of disillusionment in the air. President Jimmy Carter had taken office in 1977, inheriting a divided nation and a turbulent economy. It was a time when the dollar was losing its strength against other currencies, and the world was shifting on its axis. This is the backdrop against which the 1980 Roosevelt dime emerged. To understand the coin's importance, we must take a moment to appreciate the man it honors, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt, who served as the 32nd President of the United States, was a figure larger than life. Born in 1882, he ascended to the presidency in 1933, at a time when the Great Depression had gripped the nation. He led the country through its darkest days, implementing New Deal programs that not only saved the American economy but reshaped the role of government in people's lives. The story of Roosevelt's leadership and his fight for social justice, economic reform, and international diplomacy became legendary. But perhaps one of the most personal aspects of his life was his battle with polio. Roosevelt's resilience in the face of such adversity made him an enduring symbol of hope and strength. When Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the country was still grieving its wartime leader, and his death left a gaping hole in the national psyche. But his legacy would not be forgotten. Just a year later, the U.S. Mint would design a new dime in his honor. This dime, which would bear Roosevelt's portrait, became the symbol of a nation in recovery and resilience. The choice of Roosevelt was fitting. He was a man of action, courage, and compassion. A person who embodied the American spirit in its finest form. The 1980 Roosevelt dime was not just another coin. It was a testament to the nation's perseverance, a constant reminder of the tenacity that defined the American spirit in the face of adversity. The dime itself is an enduring reminder of the country's strength and determination during a time of trial. It also speaks to the continuity of history, the fact that even in times of challenge, the image of Roosevelt would still be engraved on U.S. currency, reminding people of the country's ongoing fight for a better future. Now, let's talk about the coin itself, the 1980 Roosevelt One Dime. Its design was no accident. When the U.S. Mint sought to honor Roosevelt, they chose to feature a portrait of the president facing left, sculpted by the renowned artist John R. Sinnock. Sinnock, who also designed the reverse of the coin, was a talented engraver who had previously worked on coins like the Franklin half-dollar. His portrait of Roosevelt was meant to capture both his strength and compassion. Roosevelt's face, with its strong jaw and distinctive features, gazes into the distance as if contemplating the future of the country he helped shape. The likeness is both dignified and intimate, offering a sense of familiarity, as though Roosevelt himself is right there with you, reminding you of the challenges the country had overcome, and the ones still to come, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The reverse side of the 1980 Roosevelt dime features an olive branch, a torch, and an oak branch, arranged in a way that symbolizes peace, unity, and strength. The olive branch represents peace, the torch symbolizes liberty, and the oak branch stands for strength. These symbols were carefully selected to reflect Roosevelt's values, his belief in the power of peace, his dedication to liberty, and his unwavering faith in the strength of the American people. Together, these elements form a cohesive visual representation of Roosevelt's legacy, offering a sense of reassurance in uncertain times. While the design of the coin may have been rooted in a vision of hope and resilience, the 1980 dime also holds significance in terms of its composition. At the time, dimes were made of an alloy consisting of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. This composition had been in place since 1965, when the U.S. Mint transitioned away from using silver in most of its coins. The move was a response to rising silver prices and a need to preserve the metal content in coins, a trend that would continue for decades to come. In the years that followed, the 1980 Roosevelt dime would become a familiar piece of currency. It would be exchanged between millions of hands, used to pay for everything from groceries to bus rides to movie tickets. Yet, to most people, it was just another coin, a small and seemingly insignificant piece of the larger economic machine. Few would have known, at the time, that it would one day become a coveted piece of American history. But it wasn't just any 1980 dime that would capture the attention of collectors. Like all coins, only certain ones would hold intrinsic value as they aged. When it comes to coin collecting, some dimes from the 1980 series are seen as having special characteristics that make them more valuable than others. The most significant of these rare coins are the ones that were struck in error. These error coins, though rare, are highly prized by collectors because they offer a unique glimpse into the minting process. One such error that collectors are particularly keen on is the 1980 Roosevelt dime with a double die strike. This occurs when a coin is struck twice by the press, creating a subtle but noticeable doubling of the design. It's a small flaw, but one that can dramatically increase the coin's value. Of course, it's not just error coins that attract attention. The general condition of the coin, its grade, also plays a significant role in determining its worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no visible wear. A well-preserved 1980 Roosevelt dime, particularly one with a high grade, can be worth considerably more than a well-worn, everyday dime, but the real story lies in the value of a very particular 1980 Roosevelt dime, a coin that would go on to make headlines in the world of coin collecting. This dime, a rare gem in perfect condition, was auctioned off to a lucky buyer for an astonishing $118,000. Up next, the 1999 Roosevelt One Dime coin, a small, seemingly ordinary piece of American currency that, at first glance, might not strike you as particularly valuable. After all, it's just a dime, a mere 10-cent coin that has likely passed through countless hands since its minting. But if you look closer, you'll realize that this tiny coin has a fascinating story to tell, one that wins through history, artistry, economic shifts, and the world of coin collecting. For the 1999 Roosevelt One Dime, a seemingly modest coin, has become a rare gem in the world of numismatics, commanding attention and, in some cases, astronomical prices. Let's rewind to the late 1990s. The world was on the cusp of a new millennium, and the United States was riding high on the economic boom of the decade. The country was experiencing one of its most prosperous periods, with a booming stock market, technological advancements, and low unemployment rates. People were looking forward to a new era, filled with possibilities, while also looking back at the legacy of the previous century. It was in this atmosphere of optimism and change that the 1999 Roosevelt dime was minted. The Roosevelt dime had been in circulation since 1946, designed by John R. Sinnock to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away earlier that year. Roosevelt, who had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, was celebrated for his leadership and vision. The dime bearing his image became a permanent fixture in American currency, a daily reminder of his enduring influence. Fast forward to 1999. The U.S. Mint continued to produce dimes with the same design that had been used for decades. The 1999 Roosevelt dime would be no different in terms of its basic design, a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. These elements symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, reflecting Roosevelt's legacy of resilience in the face of adversity. Yet, as is often the case in the world of coins, it's the small details that can make all the difference. The 1999 Roosevelt dime, though part of a regular coin series, would find its place in history due to certain specific circumstances. While most of the dimes from this year would circulate in the pockets of everyday Americans, there were a few rare variations and factors that would elevate the value of some of these coins. The minting process itself, an intricate dance of pressure, design, and metal, sometimes leads to small errors or discrepancies. These imperfections, while unnoticed by most, can make a world of difference to a collector. One of the most notable features of the 1999 Roosevelt dime is the mint mark on its reverse. This coin, minted in Philadelphia, proudly displays the P mint mark, indicating that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the primary facility responsible for minting U.S. coins for many years. While the P mint mark may seem like a small detail, for collectors, it's a signal of authenticity and a key factor in determining rarity and value. In addition to the mint mark, it's important to note the condition of the coin. Coin collectors place great importance on the preservation of a coin's quality. Coins that have been well preserved, without scratches, dents, or wear, are far more valuable than those that show signs of heavy circulation. Coins are graded on a scale, with higher grades indicating better condition. A 1999 Roosevelt dime that is in pristine, near-mint condition is significantly more valuable than one that has been passed through countless hands, but there's more to this coin than just the mint mark or the condition. The true magic of the 1999 Roosevelt One Dime lies in the rarer varieties that have emerged over time. As with many coins, small errors in the minting process can make certain pieces far more valuable. One such error that collectors look for in the 1999 Roosevelt dime is the double die variety. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the die, resulting in a subtle, yet noticeable doubling of the coin's design elements. The double die variety is rare, and when collectors find one, it can fetch an impressive price. Another key factor that influences the value of the 1999 Roosevelt dime is the historical context in which it was minted. The end of the 20th century was a time of great change and uncertainty, as the world prepared for the technological shifts of the new millennium. The economic boom of the 1990s was followed by the looming fears of Y2K, and the world's attention turned to the future, wondering what new challenges and opportunities would arise. In this sense, the 1999 Roosevelt dime represents more than just a piece of currency. It is a tangible symbol of the transition from the 20th to the 21st century. While most people simply used the 1999 Roosevelt dime as it was intended, as a 10-cent piece of money, there was a small group of dedicated collectors who saw something more in these coins. To them, the 1999 Roosevelt dime was not just a dime, it was a piece of American history, a valuable artifact that would one day appreciate in value, and so, over time, the 1999 Roosevelt dime began to emerge as a sought-after coin in the world of numismatics. Collectors scoured their collections and examined their change, looking for dimes in excellent condition, those with mint marks from the Philadelphia Mint, and, of course, the rare errors. These coins began to rise in value, fueled by the growing demand from those who wanted to add them to their collections, but nothing could have prepared collectors for the incredible prices that the 1999 Roosevelt One Dime would eventually command. In the world of coins, prices can fluctuate depending on demand, rarity, and condition. For the 1999 Roosevelt dime, one coin in particular stood out. A coin in exceptional condition, struck with a rare minting error, and bearing the P mint mark was auctioned off for a jaw-dropping $76,000. This coin's sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, highlighting the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. What was once considered just a regular dime, circulating alongside countless others, had transformed into a rare and highly valuable artifact. The story of this 1999 Roosevelt One Dime is a reminder that sometimes, hidden in plain sight, are treasures waiting to be discovered. Top 3. The year is 1996. The world is experiencing a unique moment in history. People are anxiously awaiting the dawn of a new millennium, yet at the same time, the world is still wrapped in the remnants of the 20th century, where the old and new coexist. While people were contemplating technological advances and the future ahead, there was a small, seemingly ordinary piece of currency circulating among millions of hands across the United States, the 1996 Roosevelt One Dime. What seems like just another everyday dime, part of the familiar change we receive at stores, holds a much deeper story than you might expect. Behind this seemingly simple coin is a tale that spans decades, touches on historical significance, design intricacies, and even the world of coin collecting, which has led to a fascinating twist. When we think about coins, we often don't consider their potential as valuable collectibles. After all, they are currency, something we use in our daily lives for transactions, and their face value is pretty clear. The 1996 Roosevelt dime, however, has become something far more than just 10 cents. Over the years, this particular coin has earned its place in the spotlight, commanding the attention of collectors and enthusiasts alike. This small coin, struck with care in the heart of the U.S. Mint, is a piece of history, and for some collectors, it's worth far more than you might imagine. Let's go back to the 1990s and set the stage. The United States in 1996 was thriving economically. The country had just emerged from a period of uncertainty in the early 90s and was now enjoying a time of prosperity. The economy was booming, technology was advancing rapidly, and American consumers were seeing growth in their incomes. It was an exciting time, yet, in the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint continued to do what it had always done, produce the coins that kept the country's economy running smoothly. For decades, one of the most iconic and enduring coins in the United States has been the Roosevelt dime. Originally introduced in 1946 after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime was designed by John R. Sinnock, who had already made his mark in the coin world with his design of the Franklin half-dollar. Roosevelt was an iconic figure in American history, having led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The choice to honor Roosevelt on the dime was not just symbolic, it was a tribute to the president's leadership during a challenging period in U.S. history. The Roosevelt dime, which replaced the Mercury dime, was, in essence, a symbol of the nation's resilience and strength during one of its most difficult times. The coin features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, solemn and dignified, with his characteristic half-smile. Above his image is the word "Liberty," along with the year of minting, while below, the inscription, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the country's founding ideals. On the reverse side of the coin, there is a powerful design that represents the core values of the United States. A torch, olive branch, and oak branch are placed together. The torch symbolizes freedom, the olive branch represents peace, and the oak branch stands for strength. These elements are beautifully combined, reinforcing the idea of unity and strength, even in the face of adversity. Fast forward to 1996, and these design elements were unchanged, as the Roosevelt dime had been in circulation for over 50 years. The 1996 dime, just like its predecessors, was used for everyday transactions across the country. Yet, despite its widespread use, something made this particular year's dime stand out in the eyes of collectors and numismatists. The U.S. Mint has always produced coins with a high degree of precision, but occasionally, subtle variations or errors can make one coin stand out from the rest. The 1996 Roosevelt dime was no exception. Some of these dimes have become highly sought-after items for collectors due to their unique features, rare minting errors, and the sometimes subtle differences in the way they were struck. Before we explore those, let's discuss the minting process. The U.S. Mint is responsible for producing billions of coins each year, and during 1996, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint were responsible for striking the Roosevelt dimes. Coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint bear a P mint mark, while those struck in Denver are marked with a D. For most of the population, these mint marks are not something we think twice about. But for coin collectors, these seemingly minor distinctions can play a huge role in determining the coin's rarity and value. In fact, certain mint marks and the location where a coin was struck are crucial in identifying potential collectors' items. Another important factor for coin collectors is the coin's condition. The grading system used to evaluate a coin's quality is key to determining its value. Coins that are in pristine condition, meaning they have minimal signs of wear or damage, are far more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. A 1996 Roosevelt dime that looks like it has never left the mint, with sharp details and no visible wear, will command a premium over one that has been bounced around in pockets for years. Even tiny imperfections can dramatically impact a coin's value, but perhaps the most significant factor for the 1996 Roosevelt dime's value is the discovery of rare minting errors. One of the most coveted varieties of the 1996 dime is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the die, resulting in a subtle but noticeable doubling of the coin's design. This can happen due to a misalignment of the dies during the minting process, leading to a double impression of Roosevelt's portrait, the inscriptions, or other design elements. These types of errors are incredibly rare and, when found, are highly prized by collectors. Another variation that adds to the intrigue of the 1996 Roosevelt dime is the coin's position in history. The 1996 Roosevelt dime was minted in a period of great change, technologically, socially, and politically, in the United States. While the country was on the brink of entering the 21st century, the 1996 dime carried with it the weight of a more than 50-year legacy. For many, the 1996 dime symbolized continuity, the resilience of the United States through turbulent times. It's this sense of history that elevates the value of the coin for many collectors. For them, it represents more than just a piece of currency, it's a connection to an iconic moment in time. But why has the 1996 Roosevelt dime become such a significant piece in the world of coin collecting? The answer lies in the rarity of certain varieties and the limited availability of these pristine specimens. Over the years, as collectors have sought out high-quality examples of this coin, demand has driven up the price. With fewer and fewer of the rare varieties and error coins available, the 1996 Roosevelt dime has evolved into a sought-after treasure in the world of numismatics. And now, the big reveal. A 1996 Roosevelt dime, in exceptional condition, with a rare minting error, or one with significant historical significance, can fetch an impressive price at auction. The most coveted examples of this coin have been known to sell for as much as $67,000. It's the year 2002. The world is adjusting to a new century, with technology advancing at a rapid pace, and the United States is enjoying economic growth and global prominence. But amid the larger changes, one small coin continued to do what it had done for decades, circulate in the hands of Americans. This coin, a simple 10-cent piece, the 2002 Roosevelt One Dime, may seem like just another coin in your pocket. However, it holds an intriguing story, one that ties into the nation's history, its economy, and the art of coin collecting. Little did people know, tucked away in the everyday flow of change, was a coin that would become a rare and valuable treasure for some lucky collectors. The Roosevelt dime, which was first introduced in 1946, had long been a part of American currency by the time 2002 rolled around. Designed by John R. Sinnock to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime had become a lasting symbol of American resilience, leadership, and strength. Roosevelt had led the country through some of its most challenging times, the Great Depression and World War II, and his legacy lived on in this coin. The image of Roosevelt's face, dignified and stern, had become one of the most enduring representations of an American leader on currency. The design on the reverse side of the coin has also remained largely unchanged. It features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, which represent liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. Together, these elements encapsulate the spirit of the United States, a country built on freedom, unity, and fortitude. It's an elegant, timeless design, with a sense of permanence and stability, qualities that Americans have always prided themselves on. Even in 2002, these symbols were still relevant, resonating with the ideals of the American public. But while the 2002 Roosevelt dime may have felt like just another standard coin in circulation, there were subtle factors that set it apart from other years' dimes. The U.S. Mint, which had been producing Roosevelt dimes for over half a century by this point, continued to mint coins in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And though the design of the coin had remained relatively constant, other aspects, such as the minting process and the conditions of the coin, had a large impact on its rarity and potential value. For most of the population, the 2002 Roosevelt dime would have been used as intended, a convenient form of currency to make small purchases, pay for groceries, or collect in a jar over time. But for those with an eye for detail, there were small features within the 2002 dimes that could make a big difference in value. The minting of these coins wasn't a simple process. It involved precise tooling, high-pressure stamping, and the careful striking of designs onto the metal. It was within this process that tiny flaws or mistakes could occur, giving rise to some of the most sought-after varieties of the coin. One of the key details that collectors would look for in a 2002 Roosevelt dime is the mint mark. The mint mark, which is located on the reverse of the coin, identifies where the coin was produced. Coins minted in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a D, and coins struck in San Francisco carry an S. The 2002 dime struck at the Philadelphia Mint would feature no mint mark, while those struck in Denver would bear the distinctive D. For collectors, these distinctions were crucial. While most dimes in circulation would bear the Philadelphia mark, dimes from the Denver Mint were often more sought after, especially in certain years when they were produced in fewer quantities. Yet, it wasn't just the mint mark that drew collectors' attention. The 2002 Roosevelt dime had something more, something rarer that made it a coin of particular interest in the world of numismatics. Over the years, collectors have come to understand that minting errors, though sometimes minor, can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. And this was certainly the case for the 2002 dimes. One of the most notable variations that collectors sought was the double die variety. A double die coin occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled. This is often most noticeable on the lettering or design features. In the case of the 2002 Roosevelt dime, double die varieties were particularly sought after because of the subtlety of the error. A slight doubling of Roosevelt's face or the inscriptions around the coin could result in a dramatic increase in value. These types of errors were not common and often required a keen eye to detect, making them highly desirable to those searching for rare, valuable coins. Another factor that made the 2002 Roosevelt dime interesting to collectors was the overall quality of the coin. Coin collectors are particularly keen on the condition of the coin, and dimes that have been well preserved, free of scratches, dents, or excessive wear, are prized possessions. A coin that looks as though it has just left the mint, with sharp details and smooth surfaces, is far more valuable than one that has been worn down by years of circulation. For many collectors, the hunt for high-quality examples of the 2002 Roosevelt dime was part of the thrill. The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Beyond the design and condition, the 2002 Roosevelt dime also had a certain significance within the broader context of U.S. coinage. The year 2002 marked a moment of transition, as the country was approaching the end of the 20th century and beginning to settle into the realities of the new millennium. Though this coin didn't bear any special commemorative marking, it nevertheless represented the stability of U.S. currency during a time of rapid global changes. The economy was strong, and the country was in a position of power on the world stage. For many collectors, a coin from this era symbolized the pride and prosperity of the United States during this period. And now, let's get to the part that every collector, and indeed anyone interested in coinage, is most curious about: the value. The 2002 Roosevelt dime, though a common coin in circulation, became an unexpectedly rare and valuable item for some lucky individuals. Like many other coins, its value lies not just in its face value but in its rarity, condition, and any special features it might have. In the case of certain 2002 dimes, particularly those in pristine condition or with errors such as the double die, the value has risen far beyond what you might expect. One of the most incredible examples of this coin's potential value came when a particularly rare 2002 Roosevelt dime, bearing the coveted double die error and in near perfect condition, sold for an astonishing $30,000.